celebrity, right? Or is it gonna be what interests me? I like playing poker, but I don't know if anyone else would care about poker. I like Las Vegas, but like, I don't think anyone would care. It's like not provocative enough. It's gotta be a person, you know? It's gotta be a person. What about ASMR? What if I actually read? Let's see. You know, let's actually read about ASMR on YouTube. Let me do F11. Full screen this thing. Okay, ASMR. Autonomous sensory meridian response. Sometimes autosensory meridian response is a tingling sensation that typically begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and the upper spine. Is that true? Because, like, I'll just get it all over. Typically begins on the scalp. I think they're overanalyzing it. Right? Am I? Am I wrong? A pleasant form of paresthesia. Maybe I'll click on that. I might put this down. Has been compared with auditory tactile synesthesia and may overlap with frisson. Dude, are they just making all this up? Because ASMR, from what I remember, has only been around for like 10 years or something. And all of a sudden they're acting like Freud diagnosed it back in the... When was Freud around? Oh, well, I'll tell you what, let's find out. Where's the... Freud. Sigmund. Back in 1939, 1856. What do you think about that? No, ASMR, let's go back. What else about it? ASMR signifies the subjective experience of low-grade euphoria. Low-grade, come on, dude. I'm happy as shit when I get the tingles. I like it. Characterized by a combination of positive feelings and a distinct static-like tingling sensation on the skin. Sorry, the eyes were for the vehicles outside, not the Wikipedia entry. It's most commonly triggered by specific auditory or visual stimuli. Visual, I don't know if I get the visual. Obviously the auditory, and less commonly by intentional attention control. I still don't know if I'm in frame. I should be moving that up because I don't even think you can see that. I don't know if it's in frame or not. Wow, this whole article has seriously grown. I remember like checking this article, the ASMR Wikipedia thing, like a few years ago, and it was like nothing. The name, while many colloquial and formal terms used and proposed between 2007 and 2010 included reference to orgasm, there was during that time a significant majority objection to its use among those active in online discussions, many of whom have continued to persist in differentiating the euphoric and relaxing nature of ASMR from sexual arousal. Yeah, it's not a sexual thing, dude. Sex is sex. ASMR is ASMR. Food is food. Roller coasters are roller coasters. Video games are video games. You pick up a theme here. You see what I'm talking about? It's just different things can be cool. Not everything has to be sex, people. Where were we? However, the argument for sexual arousal persists, and some proponents brands have published videos categorized as ASMR erotica, which are deliberately designed to be sexually stimulating. Cool, great for them. Early proponents of ASMR concluded that the phenomenon was generally unrelated to sexual arousal. Yeah, and I agree with that, like I said. In 2010, Jennifer Allen, a participant in an online forum, proposed that the phenomenon be named autonomous sensory meridian response. Allen chose the words intending or assuming them to have the following specific meanings. I remember this has been in here forever. Autonomous is spontaneous, self-governing, with or without control, sensory about the sensation, meridian, signifying a peak, climax, or point of highest development. I disagree with that, actually. And then response, referring to an experience triggered by something external or internal. Yeah, I agree with response. Meridian, I don't know about that, though, the whole peak or climax or whatever the hell. I'm just really chill when it happens. It's almost like a meditative state, but it lasts for a long time, hence the tingles, the tingly feeling. I don't recall ever having achieved like a tingly sensation while I was meditating ever. I haven't meditated in a really long time, but when I did, I would just get really in the zone, in my own zone, you know. But yeah, it wasn't like tingly or anything like I get with ASMR. It's a really interesting thing that people figured out over the years regarding ASMR, because I've had it since I was a kid, and I'm sure everyone else has also. You know, it's not like all of a sudden ASMR comes around and then people get tingles. No, they've had them all their life. If you get tingles, you get tingles from various things that trigger these things. Only at some point people decided to give it a name, and then once it has a name, they were able to, you know, categorize it and give it life via social media and internet and stuff. It's magical. It's very cool. Like, I remember when I was a little kid, I was in like first grade, and I asked the teacher a question, and she came over to my desk, and I was looking down at my paper, and I just remember getting that tingly sensation on the back of my neck when she was speaking, because it was a very calming tone she was using. She was very helpful. She was like helping me, so there was attention focused on me, and I felt like I was just safe, you know what I mean? And that was the first time I ever remember actually feeling that sort of sensation. So it's not like all of a sudden someone goes, hey, have you ever heard of ASMR? And then I'm like, no, and then they tell me and I go, oh yeah, well, I am able to tingle now. No, it's been around all my life. And like I said, I'm sure it's the same with other people. Sorry. Allen verified in a 2016 interview that she purposely selected these terms because they were more objective, comfortable, and clinical than alternative means for the sensation. In that interview, Allen explained that she selected the word meridian to replace the word orgasm, and said she had found a dictionary that defined meridian as a point or period of highest development, greatest prosperity, or the like. See, that's the issue. I don't believe there's an apex. Hold on. The fact that you're like suggesting there's some sort of an apex is why people are likening it to an orgasm and why people liken it to sex. If you equate it more to something meditative or contemplative, accompanied by a sensation of, I wouldn't even call it euphoria, relaxation, a heightened sensation of relaxation, then people would not equate it as much to having sex. Kind of like the same sensation you have when you take a shower, you know? I would equate it more to that than sex. Sensation, the subjective experience, sensation, and perceptual phenomena of ASMR is described by some of those susceptible to it as akin to a mild electrical current. Okay, I like that. Or the carbonated bubbles in a glass of champagne. The tingling sensation on the skin in general, called paresthesia, is referred to by ASMR enthusiasts as tingles when experienced along the scalp, neck, and back. It has been described as a static tingling sensation originating from the back of the head then propagating to the neck, shoulder, arm, spine, and legs, which make people feel relaxed and alert. Too many words. It just goes all over your body. You don't have to name each fucking body part, you know. It starts at the top of the head, creeps down the forehead, around the eyes, tickles your nose, and goes around and into your mouth, down your esophagus. Being an asshole. Though little scientific research has been conducted into potential neurobiological... What? How is this phrased? Though little scientific research has been conducted into potential neurobiological correlates to the correlates. I don't think that is a proper sentence right there. I could be crazy, but I think I might be onto something here. I think it's a dumb sentence. Correlates to the perceptual phenomenon with a consequent dearth, who wrote this, of data with which to explain its physical nature. Personal commentary from forums, blogs, and video comments have been analyzed to describe the phenomenon. That's the worst goddamn run-on sentence I've ever seen in my life. Analysis of this anecdotal evidence has supported the original consensus that ASMR is euphoric but non-sexual, and has divided those who experience ASMR into two broad categories of subjects. One category depends upon external triggers to experience the localized sensation and its associated feelings, which typically originates in the head. Oh, here we go again. Often reaching down the neck and sometimes the upper back. The other category can intentionally augment the sensation and feelings through attentional control without dependence upon external stimuli or triggers in a manner compared by some subjects to their experience of meditation. There you go, meditation. Where is the end of my camera? Over here. Okay, yeah, I'm good. I think I'm good. Yeah. I don't even know if this is relaxing. I'll do some of this. How do you do the thing that GB and all those people do? If I tap on stuff, you know what, screw it, let's get back to whispering. Triggers. ASMR is usually precipitated by stimuli referred to as triggers. ASMR triggers, which are most commonly auditory and visual, may be encountered through the interpersonal interactions of daily life. Yeah, I agree with that. Additionally, ASMR is often triggered by exposure to specific audio and video. Such media may be specially made with specific purpose of triggering ASMR or created for other purposes and later discovered to be effective as a trigger of the experience. Okay. Stimuli that can trigger ASMR as reported by those who experience it include the following: listening to a softly spoken or whispering voice, listening to quiet, repetitive sounds resulting from someone engaging in a mundane task such as turning the pages of a book. Yeah, that gets me. I like page turning. Watching somebody attentively execute a mundane task such as preparing food. I could see that. Yeah, cutting carrots and stuff, or just like making a stew in general. Receiving personal attention, grooming, makeup. I don't know if that does it for me as much as just the people speaking calmly. For me, it has, I guess it's a preference. I'm allowed to have a preference. I like it when women are doing that. Not so much if there's dudes, but that's probably just because of my orientation. Initiating the stimulus through conscious manipulation without the need for external video or audio triggers. Oh, really quick, just to clarify, it's for the personal attention. Where I prefer chicks, I can get into like a really contemplative, meditative state. I can get the triggers to work. Guy or girl, I'm a big fan of, well, I would say Surge ASMR, but he doesn't speak. It's just straight, triggers using materials. But if we're talking voice, there's this dude, I think it's Let's Find Out ASMR, where he usually reads about stuff, and that guy is awesome. I can turn that guy on before I go to sleep, and it's just like someone's reading me a book. I pass out immediately. That guy's great. And there's other guys out there also. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Where was I? Initiating stimulus. Yeah, listening to tapping, typically nails onto surfaces such as plastic, wood, paper, metal, etc. Hand movements, especially onto one's face. Listening to certain types of music, listening to a person blow or exhale into a microphone. I don't know about that. For me, listening to crinkly items such as paper or clothes. Yeah, absolutely. Crinkly. Do I have anything crinkly? No. But I do have my bubbly. Oh, tapping. Oh, how about my... Oh, I'm about to hit something. I'm trying to show my controller. Button tapping. What about this? Yeah, like this. Like the remote. If I tap on this. If I tap. I think that's the first time I've ever intentionally tapped on something to elicit a trigger. What am I doing? A 2017 study of 130 survey respondents found that lower-pitched, complex sounds and slow-paced, detail-focused videos are especially effective triggers. And right there is why I'm not a good ASM artist. I'm too hyper. I can't keep it slow. I can't go lower pitched. Yeah. I don't know. I try, but I can't do it. Whispering, look at that. Maybe I fall into this category. Psychologists Nick Davis and Emma Barrett discovered that whispering was an effective trigger for 75% of the 475 subjects who took part in an experiment to investigate the nature of ASMR. Well, that's cool. This statistic is reflected in the popularity of intentional ASMR videos that comprise someone speaking in a whispered voice. Well, cool. Hopefully that qualifies me as a ASMR person. I specifically left ASMR out of the title of my channel because I don't know if it works for people. Like, if me whispering will trigger that, but I know for a fact I whisper, so there you go, David whispers. And also, whispering does put me to sleep, so that's, here we are, you know. As long as I can help people get to sleep, then my job is done. And if you get tingles, even better. But as long as you're able to go to sleep, cool. And also, as a bonus, if I can't get you to sleep, but if I can make you laugh, that makes me really happy, because we need more laughter in this world. And laughter, as we know, is the opposite of sleep, so I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. Auditory. Many of those who experience ASMR report that non-vocal ambient noises performed through human activities are also effective triggers of ASMR. Examples of such noises include fingers scratching or tapping a surface, brushing hair, hands rubbing together or manipulating fabric, the crushing of eggshells, the crinkling and crumpling of a flexible material such as paper or writing. Many YouTube videos that are intended to trigger ASMR responses feature a single person performing these actions and the sounds that result. Well, yeah, of course. Again, the crinkling. I do like the crinkling. Personal attention role play. In addition to the effectiveness of specific auditory stimuli, many subjects report that ASMR is triggered by the receipt of tender personal attention, often comprising combined physical touch and vocal expression, such as when having their hair cut, nails painted, ears cleaned, or back massaged while the service provider speaks quietly to the recipient. I just like that they said service provider. And who is your service provider? That would be GB ASMR. She is my service provider. Furthermore, many of those who have experienced ASMR during these and other comparable encounters with a service provider report that watching an ASMR artist stimulate the provision of such personal attention, acting directly to the camera as if the viewer were the recipient of a simulated service, is sufficient to trigger it. Psychologists Nick Davis and Emma Barrett discovered that personal attention was an effective trigger for 69% of the 475 subjects who participated in a study that conducted at Swansea University, second in popularity only to whispering. Are you fucking kidding me? So whispering is really popular. That's incredible. Clinical role play. Among the category of intentional ASMR videos that stimulate the provision of personal attention is a subcategory wherein the ASMR artist is specifically depicted providing clinical or medical services. That trips me out, including routine, general medical examinations. The creators of these videos make no claims to the reality of what is depicted, and the viewer is intended to be aware that they are watching and listening to a simulation performed by an artist. Dude, are they suggesting some people turn it on thinking they're going to get an actual medical diagnosis? I'm like, well, feel like my foot's falling off. I better turn on Fred's voice to find out what the diagnosis is. Fred's voice. There's another guy. He's pretty cool. Nonetheless, many viewers attribute therapeutic outcomes to these and other categories of intentional ASMR videos, and there are voluminous anecdotal reports of their effectiveness in inducing sleep for those susceptible to insomnia. Oh yeah, that's really why I do this. I have that all the time. Dude, it's like 12:30 right now. And assuaging, is that it? Assuaging a range of symptoms, including those associated with depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. In the first peer-reviewed article on ASMR, dude, I gotta get comfortable. I can't get comfortable, but the mics are over here. And it's like, I want to lay over there, you know? In the first peer-reviewed article on ASMR, this is like not working. I'm gonna make it work. Published in, is my chin just crumpled up? Do I have like 3 chins right now? Hello. In the first peer review, published in Perspectives in Biology in summer 2013, Nitin Ahuja, who was at the time of publication a medical resident at the University of Virginia, invited conjecture on whether the recipient of simulated medical attention might have some tangible therapeutic value for the recipient, comparing the purported positive outcome of clinical role-play ASMR videos with the themes of the novel Love in the Ruins by author and physician Walker Percy, published in 1971. The story follows Tom Moore, a psychiatrist living in a dystopian future who develops a device called the ontological lapsometer that, when traced across the scalp of a patient, detects the neurochemical correlation to a range of disturbances. This whole subject right here is so up its own ass. I'm getting lost. In the course of the novel, Moore admits that the mere application of the device to a patient's body results in the partial relief of his symptoms. I gotta wait for this vehicle. Or do I? What am I hearing? Am I hearing anything right now at all? I don't think I am. Ahuja alleges that through the character of Tom Moore, as depicted in Love in the Ruins, Percy displays... Sorry, no more bubbly, no more carbonated stuff when I do these. Displays an intuitive understanding of the diagnostic act as a form of therapy unto itself. Ahuja asks whether, similarly, the receipt of simulated personal clinical attention by an actor in an ASMR video might afford the listener and viewer some relief. Too much on that. Jesus Christ. Tactile. In addition to audio and visual stimuli, ASMR may be caused by light touches and brushing against the skin as effleurage. I'm learning all sorts of words. Are these all made up words? Did they make up all these words? That's what's happening right now. It reminds me of Will Ferrell when he made up scrumptulescent for James Lipton. You should look that up. Susceptibility. Those experiencing ASMR often have higher Big Five personality trait scores in openness experience and neuroticism, but lower conscientiousness, extroversion, and agreeableness. Okay, hold on, I want to see if that's correct with me. Those experiencing ASMR. Hold on, I have to wait for this stupid vehicle, right? I wonder if that speaks to what they're talking about right there. Those experiencing ASMR often have higher Big 5 personality trait scores. I don't know what those are, and I don't want to click it or it'll take me out of this window and it's a pain in the ass. In openness to experience and neuroticism, but lower conscientiousness, extroversion, and agreeableness. So that means I'm neurotic. Okay, cool. I'll take it. Lower conscientiousness. I don't know about that. Extroversion. I'm pretty fucking extroverted, I will say. Which is very odd. Usually people are like, oh, well, I'm more of an introvert. Oh, no shit. You and 100% of the population who think they're an introvert. But really, you talk just as much as everyone else if we get you talking about whatever your hobby is. And agreeableness. Dude, I'm pretty agreeable. I'm also unagreeable at times also. Actually, I was just disagreeing with that very statement, so touche, you got me there. ASMR intensity is correlated with the openness to experience and neuroticism traits. ASMR intensity is correlated with the... I feel like this is serious bullshit, but I like entertaining it. The sensory and emotional experience of ASMR overlaps with and may be partially explained by characteristics associated with mindfulness. Okay. In December 2012, Craig Richard, a blogger on the subject of ASMR, published the first results of a poll comprising 12 questions that had received 161 respondents, followed by second results in August 2015, by which time there were 477 respondents. Okay. And the results are what? In August 2014, Craig Richard, Jennifer Allen, and Carissa Burnett published a survey at SurveyMonkey that was reviewed by, you know what? They're PewDiePieing us right now, and what I mean by that, I've read quite a few Wikipedia articles now in full, okay, and for this channel to like, you know, just for the sake of whispering them or reading them, and I found that there is so much redundant information in a lot of Wikipedia articles, and I don't know why. Hold on. Yeah, okay, sorry. Had to wait for helicopters again. There's a lot of redundant information in Wikipedia articles. I think people just need to get their 2 cents in, even if it means repeating the living shit out of things that were already stated. Like, go to the PewDiePie Wikipedia article and see how repetitive it is. It's obnoxious. It took me literally 2 hours to whisper through that at a normal pace, not like this. Right now I'm taking my sweet time. But yeah, it was just like entry after entry, all about viewership, repeating the viewership stats, repeating allegations of, you know, his controversy that he had gone through, repeating different awards, repeating everything. Yeah, Wikipedia is like the bee's knees, don't get me wrong. There's nothing like it. It's incredible. Someone said on Reddit the other day, Wikipedia is what people thought the internet was supposed to be, and I totally agree with it. Having said that, there's a lot of entries in Wikipedia articles that are just like, dude, who gives a shit? Like, where did this come from? In August 2014, Craig Richard, Jennifer Allen, and Carissa Burnett published a survey at SurveyMonkey that was reviewed by Shenandoah University Institutional Review Board in the Fuller Theological Seminary School of Psychology, blah, blah, blah. And it announced that it goes through all of this shit and then hits you with no such publication or report is yet available. Okay, fine, then leave it out. Get back to us when it's done. You don't need to clutter up the wiki with garbage. You know what I mean? Background in history. Wow, there's a background in history this time. Contemporary. The contemporary history of ASMR began on October 19th, 2007 on a discussion forum for health-related subjects at a website called Steady Health. A 21-year-old registered user with the handle OKWhatever, love it, submitted a post describing having experienced a specific sensation since childhood. Dude, totally, that's what I was talking about before. Comparable to that stimulated by tracing fingers along the skin. Waiting for a car. Yet often triggered by seemingly random and unrelated non-haptic events such as watching a puppet show or being read a story. Replies to this post indicated that a significant number of other people had experienced the sensation which OKWhatever described, also in response to witnessing mundane events. The interchanges precipitated the formation of a number of web-based locations intended to facilitate further discussions and analysis of the phenomenon, for which there were plentiful anecdotal accounts, yet no consensus agreed name, nor any scientific data or explanation. Austrian writer Clemens J. Setz suggests that a passage from the novel Mrs. Dalloway, authored by Virginia Woolf and published in 1925, describes something distinctly comparable. In the passage from Mrs. Dalloway cited by Setz, a nursemaid speaks to the man who is her patient deeply, softly, like a mellow organ, but with a roughness in her voice like a grasshopper's, which rasped his spine deliciously and sent running up into his brain waves of sound. Yeah, that does sound like it, I guess. According to Setz, this citation generally alludes to the effectiveness of the human voice and soft or whispered vocal sounds specifically as a trigger of ASMR for many of those who experience it, and demonstrated by the responsive comments posted to YouTube videos that depict someone speaking softly or whispering, typically directly to the camera. Evolutionary. Okay, there are no known sources, of any evolutionary origins for ASMR, since it has yet to be identified as having biological correlations. Yeah, that's what I would think. Even so, a significant majority of descriptions of ASMR by those who experience it compare the sensation to that precipitated by receipt of tender physical touch, providing examples such as having their hair cut or combed. You see what I'm talking about? The repetition. We've seen this before already. They already went over this. In fact, I'm going to skip that. Here's a new line. The ASMR effect is clearly strongly related to the perception of non-threat and altruistic attention. Strong similarity to physical grooming in primates who derive an enormous pleasure when being groomed by a grooming partner, not to get clean, but rather to bond with each other. Yeah, that's different though. That's like physical. That's someone actually touching you. Imaging subjects' brains with fMRI as they reported experiencing strongly during the tingle periods than the control periods. The most popular source of stimuli reported by subjects to be effective in triggering ASMR is video, really not audio. I disagree because I am me and I'm the only person that matters. Videos reported being effective in triggering ASMR generally fall into two categories: intentional and unintentional. Intentional media is created by those known as ASMR artists, to trigger ASMR in viewers and listeners. Unintentional media is that made for other reasons, often before attention was drawn to the phenomenon in 2007, but which some subjects discovered to be effective in triggering ASMR. Yeah, exactly. Examples of unintentional media include British author John Butler. Hold on, car. Examples of unintentional media include British author John Butler and American painter Bob Ross, the OG. Someone needs to put that in here. Someone needs to put the OG after Bob Ross. In Ross's episodes of his television series The Joy of Painting, both broadcast and on YouTube, his soft, gentle speaking mannerisms and the sound of his painting and his tools trigger the effect in some viewers. The work of stop-motion filmmaker P.E.S. is also often noted. How much more is there? Dude, there's a lot more, and I want to go the fuck to sleep. In fact, I think we only got through like half of that. Wow. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm into it. I dig it. I'll pick back up on this tomorrow then, I guess. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Well, how long was this actually recording for, I wonder? Let's see. We were going for how long? Hold on, I gotta see. I just found out it wasn't recording the damn screen at all, so I'm fucking livid because I'm gonna have to do a bunch of work. I'm still definitely gonna use this, and I'm gonna just put the Wikipedia article up behind me. And that'll be fine, but it is a bummer. Okay. Thanks for hanging in there. Cool hanging with you guys. I'm gonna get some sleep. You do the same. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.